Andrew Berry's plan. It's pretty clear he has one. We've kind of seen a little bit of it. You wrote an article about that. Take us through that.
Well, I think he's just very precise with everything he does. And I think we've gotten a pretty good handle, I think, on Andrew Berry from the last two drafts and the last two off seasons. And I know he always talks about free agency is for need and the draft is for talent. You don't want to reach too much for need in the draft, but yet their needs have seemingly fit perfectly with the talent that's been available in the draft. That can feel fortuitous sometimes, but also guess what? You make your own luck. And so I just think that I was waiting to see how this draft went, right? Because last year it's like, all right, well, they need a tackle. There's a bunch of good tackles available. He gets a good one at 10. That, didn't take a genius move. Grant Delpit, they need safety help. It's a guy who was really good the year before, fell a little bit, falls in their lap in round 2. Okay, well, you want to see it again. Jacob Phillips and Jordan Elliott in the 3rd round. Is that great? And then I thought they had a really good draft, and everybody in the world thinks they had a really good draft, right? I mean, everybody's giving them an A. So it's 2 really precise free agent off seasons, one for offense, one for defense, and then 2 drafts that just fit, right? There's no reaches. Stuff feels natural. They go up and get a guy in JOK in round 2 when the opportunity presents itself. As many times as the draft has looked hard for the Browns, it feels like 2 years of it looking easy, but it's not easy. It could look really hard in the snap of a finger, but this guy has a plan, and plans win. Over time, plans win. And that's what there'll be misses. Listen, I'm not guaranteeing that every draft pick's going to hit, but man, it's great to see him plan, because if you do that for 10 years, you're going to be good for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, everything makes sense, and you couldn't always say that. It wasn't like, there was like this shiny, bright object in the thing that let's go grab that, even though it doesn't really fit. I mean, everything that he does seems to fit together.
And it's one of those things, and we talked about it on our Orange and Brown Talk podcast. Ellis Williams said, the Greg Newsome pick, he made a good point. They got a little lucky there, right? That it felt like there were 4 top corners in the draft. We all saw the Browns needed a corner, and the 4th one's sitting there at 26. But they didn't trade up unnecessarily to get it, right? They didn't overthink themselves. Even in the moment, I was like, man, what if they just say, hey, we didn't think Rashad Bateman would be here, and we'll take the receiver and figure out corner later. They just did what was in front of them, right? And I do think that, the Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, is there some luck there that, you can't catch a guy who falls if he doesn't fall, but also then they were targeted and they gave up very little to move up and make it. So I do think they know exactly what they want to do. And the thing that I think happens a lot, Dave, is that, you look at Jack Conklin in free agency last year and John Johnson in free agency and Troy Hill in free agency this year. And it feels like they're hitting on plan A a lot. They have a plan A and they go do it. But the thing we don't know is, well, maybe that actually was plan C or plan B, but it was so smart, it felt like plan A, right? But I think they have plans A through Z, and that they stick to their principles, and they're really, really smart. And I think 2 years is enough of a trend, right? I think this is no mistake. I think these are the off seasons we can expect from years to come from Andrew Berry, Paul DePodesta, and Kevin Stefanski.